So when you get thumped, the designers go, well, great, now what are we going to do? We give you a fast boat, but you can't even sail it. Most of the other teams have sort of spent their foils. They've got, we've seen all their foils. So no, not at all. I would look at it the other way. I'd say we're about to start to take our advantage. We try to live in a siege mentality because we just went at each other, which frankly I enjoyed. It's the best part of the last 20 years, actually. Well, that would be a right royal cock-up.
We now feel like we're in an America's Cup cycle. This is the second preliminary event. It strikes me that there's been a huge leap already in the performance of the boats, or the performance of the teams, sorry, not the boats, the teams, since Spain a few weeks ago. What's your take on that? What are you seeing?
Yeah, but I mean, that's not really any surprise because you're only not taking it seriously till you get a thumping, and then you're taking it very seriously. I think Slingsby, I thought, put it quite well. We did one crap jibe, which cost us the entire regatta by, we would have won it by quite a lot of points. And he said that it gives a feeling within the organisation, that if the designers deliver a fast enough boat, then they've just proven that they are capable of sailing it. Because everybody always distrusts the other in that respect. Well, you've got to give us a fast boat, well, you've got to sail it properly. And I think I thought that was a really good way to think about it. He's proved his sailing team. Now you guys have got to prove us a fast boat. And so when you get thumped, the designers go, well, great, now what are we going to do? We give you a fast boat, but you can't even sail it. So, I mean, life's not quite like that, but there's those mentalities and those sort of idiosyncrasies within an organisation.
Do you think the attitude in some of the teams has changed as well? I mean, I was sensing in Spain, some of them were saying, quite openly, we know we've got to do this and that's fine for the sailors, but it's not really part of our main plan. Now they seem to be thinking in a slightly different way.
Well, the interesting thing is the feedback I'm getting is we should have more events. I sometimes think of this impossible world where you don't want too many events because the cost goes up and then it's too expensive to do the America's Cup and then you don't have enough events and they're moaning about that. So it's just this impossible balance. I mean, they are what they are. In the past we've had events. I think probably they're right, and we're coming out of a massively disrupted cycle at the end of COVID and the world economics. Everyone forgets that. There's a war. Well, it's two wars actually, and the future's only a year away or less now. So probably going forward, if financially viable, there should be more events.
That's a good point because it's a big gap now between where we finish off here and then the next competitive race is end of August, and it's not even in AC40s. How does that period...
Well, yeah, so, I mean, the ones that are saying you didn't even want the events, if we threw two in, May, June next year, they'd moan like hell that we were disrupting their build-up for the America's Cup and it was some ploy to try and weaken the challenges. I mean, I know I sound slightly sarcastic about it, but it's pretty much a no-win scenario. I think based on the cycle of the climate of economics that we live in at the moment and having come out of COVID, I don't know that we could have done it any differently. Maybe we could have dropped another one in this year. I don't think you'd do it next year because that is disruptive, not just to the challengers, it is also to us. It's, those are the boats you're going to sail in the America's Cup.
So what do you do from here as a team with your Team New Zealand hat on? What do you do from here between here and August? Obviously you go back down to New Zealand, but... Yeah,
we go back into a testing phase. So most of the other teams have sort of spent their foils. They've got, we've seen all their foils. We've still got another one to go. So we put a new one on 3 weeks ago, tested that. We've got another one coming online, which will be our last one. So that's sort of, design process. The biggest thing now though is two things. One is get the new boat in the water and start, the work on the real deal. And then two, when we get this boat back to Auckland and we've already got one there, we can get back into a racing environment. And these are things that we're playing. All we're doing now is playing out the decisions that we made as a result of the review of the win that we had in Auckland last time. We need to be a lot better than we were in Auckland. I didn't think we were particularly good.
As a team, you're no strangers to working in isolation down at the other end of the world. doesn't seem to have hampered you in the past, but I wonder how comfortable do you feel under more pressure this time, because the standard of sailing has gone up, everybody else is going to be racing in or training, not necessarily against each other, but training in Barcelona.
Well, they're going to be training in the winter for a start, so we take an advantage just simply because we're in the summer, days are longer, the nicer weather, it's more predictable. Yeah, New Zealand's never particularly predictable in the weather, as you know. So no, not at all. I would look at it the other way. I'd say we're about to start to take our advantage, because we can move the boat pretty quickly when we're ready to move it to Europe, and we've still got our 240s. So we just change modes for 3 or 4 weeks. So I think we're, Kevin will have commented on this, but I think we're where we should be. I don't think we're ahead of it, or I don't think we're behind it. So yeah, as a team, I think we're in a good space.
Finally, and slightly divergent, but tell me a bit about the challenges of being a defender, pardon the pun, but it's a different mindset, isn't it?
Yeah. The sort of the way we think about it in Emirates Team New Zealand is we think ourselves as a challenger. So if you we try to live in a siege mentality, and you probably you see that particularly in Auckland when we were attacked many times, and we come back aggressively because that's how we spend our life, challenging either Alinghi or Oracle, two of the big monsters. So you have to be in a siege mentality. So we're trying to be a very good challenger that just happens to be the defender. We know we've got to beat them all.
That's okay for the sailing team and that side of it, but then when it comes to the organisational structure, it would be very easy to get yourself tied up in all kinds of knots. It's a very separate operation, isn't it?
Well, no,
it's
not really, and it's everybody. It's just the way the cup is. They're not separate. Everybody tried. Well, that should be there, and this should be separated, and they shouldn't. Well, it just doesn't work like that in the cup. And although people would like to say that that's what happens, it doesn't. The event and the team are completely inextricably linked because the cup allows it. So if it allows it, why wouldn't you do it? In saying that, I'm really focused on making the event for Barcelona, but not at the expense of the team. And no, I don't think we are. There's sort of classic cliche about the operation's success and the patient dies. So we have an absolutely brilliant event in Barcelona, which I hope we do, but somehow you've compromised the team so much that they can't win. Well, that would be a right royal cock-up. So they are linked, and Kevin Shoebridge and the guys, they're doing a really good job with the team. We've been together for so many years, Kevin and me now, and we relate so easily. I mean, he's the sensible one, I'm the crazy one, and they're doing a really good job.
I mean, it's often said that being the challenger of record is a bit of a poison chalice, and when you look back at the history, no one has actually won the cup from a point of being a challenger of record. And yet being a defender, there's been more successful defenders than there have challengers. Yeah. It seems there's a bit odd.
Yeah, there is, and I think I've nailed it. Why? I've got a bit of a theory about this whole challenger of record. You never want to be the challenger of record because you're going to lose. And never better illustrated than the aggression fight we had with Luna Rossa last time, basically with Prada, because we just went at each other, which frankly I enjoyed. It's the best part of the last 20 years actually. But our relationship with Ineos is completely different. They're not passive, but we respect them. I had no respect for Luna Rossa or Prada last time after some of the crap that went on. But we have so I think Ineos has an advantage on the other challengers because they're the challenger of record. And I don't think this myth that being a challenger of record is like a poison, because of the relationship. And if the relationship sours, then it's a bad place to be. But we haven't really had any issues at all. We give when we think we should, and they give when they think they should.